Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix our world together. And the content that I'm going to show you right now is one of my favorite poll analysts, CNN's Harry Inton. This guy, I love his energy, I love his vibes, and he says things that makes the media go, when it comes to Trump v. Kamala. This is one you're going to want to send out because he's pointing out some things you are going to need to see. And what is the one outcome of our 2A rights that is guaranteed if Harris wins? Yeah, persecution. So let's just go ahead and skip the rigmarole of being on 4 years of defense and just get the other guy in there. And let's look at this because this is interesting stuff. What I'm about to show you will be linked in the description box per usual. This is Harry Inton, okay? This guy works for CNN and he's actually a pretty good analyst. All right, he's not as in the tank. There's also the guy from, I believe it's MSNBC, Steve Kornacki, also pretty good. I like both of them. But listen to what he's pointing out here, because this spells doom. And I said, I will say doom for the Harris campaign. And now is a really good point for a disclaimer. You need to vote if you think you're going to win, if you think you're going to lose, if you think Trump is up 100, if you think Harris is up 100. If it's a close race neck and neck, for the love of God, vote. Don't believe anything that they're telling you. Act like you're 5 points behind and vote like you're 5 points behind and get every one of your family members to vote and tell 5 of your friends. That's how you make Kamala Harris be the second woman in the Democratic Party in 10 years to lose to Hillary Clinton. How sweet would it be? It'd be amazing. Let's continue. All right. So this is Harry. He's got some very, very concerning news, but it starts off with a Taylor Swift endorsement, which has no bearing at anything. But let's keep going. Ooh, sorry about that, guys.
And that is the underperformance that both Joe Biden and now even Kamala Harris has among young voters. All right. So this is the Democrat versus Trump margin among voters age 18 to 29 or under the age of 30. You go back 4 years ago at this point. Look, Joe Biden had a 28-point advantage. A 28-point advantage over Donald Trump. Now, you look when Joe Biden dropped out of the race, he was up by just 7 points. Now, Kamala Harris has improved on Joe Biden's standing, but look at this. She's only up by 15 points. That is significantly less than Joe Biden was up at this point among the youngest voters in our electorate. It's only about half the margin that Joe Biden was pulling in. So Kamala Harris will absolutely welcome in the support of Taylor Swift if she can move young voters at all, because the bottom line is Kamala Harris is, in fact, not doing as well among young voters as you might expect a Democrat to necessarily be doing based upon history.
All right, we're going to pause that for a second. We got a lot to break down even after this. Understand what he just told you. Again, vote, 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 vote. Okay, we've said that a lot. He's coming forward with a democratic norm. Now, you're not going to hear this in a lot of liberal circles, all the propaganda stuff. I'm trying to give you some inside baseball because I love studying this stuff. From a standpoint of democratic voting demographics, the 18 to 29 demographic, the college age all the way before you're 30 and you start paying taxes and buying homes and having kids before life hits you, yeah, that little window, that's the window that if they get a good turnout, they win. If they don't get a good turnout, they lose. If they lose that turnout to Trump, he wins. This is the make or break for the Democrat Party. Always has been, always will be, at least in modern history, and particularly when I've been alive. And I'm 40. So, well, 38. All right. Understand Biden in 2020 was at plus 28 for that same demographic. Biden in 2024, before he got ousted, the old Democrat axe from Pelosi, Obama, and Clinton, he was at plus 7. Harris comes in as the second coming of Barack Obama and the savior from on high. All the sugar rush hits at one time, giving United States political diabetes, and she only got to 15 points. Now, the left is going to tell you that's incredible. Look at that. She has doubled Biden's support in our key demographic. Yeah, but if you look at the standard norms and what they are requiring in order to win through Harris or win for Harris through the demographic of 18 to 29, she is 50% of Biden when he squeaked by. Again, all of this stuff is aggregate. This is incredibly important data to understand so you give a good understanding of what's happening without being propagandized by the media, by the leftists, by Twitter, everything. All right? Let's keep going, but understand that point. That is key. And please send this to people who may not understand this as in depth, because this is the stuff that truly you can build on. Let's keep going.
And what we heard from Taylor Swift last night was a call to register to vote, get involved. Why? How much of voter registration and why is that key? How important is it?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's go to the key battleground states of Pennsylvania and North Carolina.
This is massive.
What we're going to do here is look at the Democratic advantage over Republicans in voter registration. This is party registration, registering as a Democrat, a Republican, or unaffiliated. Look, if you go back to September of 2020, look, among active voters in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, so Democrats, look at that, a 559,000 voter edge over Republicans. You jump now, look, Democrats still have an edge, but look how much that's dropped. It's now just 169,000. We're talking about the Republicans closing the gap by nearly 400,000 voters in just a 4-year time span. You go to North Carolina, it's the same exact trend, right? You go back to September of 2020, you see Democrats with a 415,000 voter edge, and now they still hold an edge, but it's just 128,000. And of course, both of these states were determined by less than 100,000 voters back in 2020. So the bottom line is Republicans have been doing a significantly better job of registering voters than Democrats have been doing over the last 4 years and getting folks to switch over from Democratic registration to Republican registration. So yeah, Kamala Harris would definitely welcome the idea if Taylor Swift could bring in some more younger voters, Democratic-leaning voters in the electorate. The bottom line is Republicans have been doing a heck of a lot better job of registering voters than Democrats have over the last 4 years.
All right, I'm going to stop this real quick before she goes to the next segment because there's 3 parts. I've divided this nicely up into a consumable little smorgasbord of freedom. All right, Pennsylvania and North Carolina. North Carolina, okay, that's kind of a wet dream. That's kind of a stretch goal if you're familiar with the terminology. Pennsylvania is the one. Harris loses Pennsylvania, she loses the entire presidency. If Trump loses Pennsylvania, his road narrows. Pennsylvania is the determining factor. Let's just call it what it is. This is something that you need to understand. In the registration in 2020, again, when Biden was Harris is now 50% of what Biden was in 20. Okay. They were up 560,000 registrations in the swing state of Pennsylvania. They are now currently up 169. They have closed the gap almost, as he said, 400,000 people. This race and the race in 2020 was decided by about 10,000 people. Understand that. Okay. Go down to North Carolina. Again, he said a key word. You're seeing a trend. You always look at trends. There's anomalies and then there's trends. Trends are where the money's at. So if you look at 415 down to 128, that's a 300,000 reduction. What that says and what that tells you in layman's terms is the Republicans have cut their leads or the Democrats' leads in registration of voters, registration of voters by 400,000 and 300,000. That's 700,000 people in just 2 swing states. That's not even including Arizona. That's not including Nevada. That's not including Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania. Yeah, so that's already up there. And Georgia. That's not even including those. Okay, again, this is something that the left is not going to show you and tell you. Let's keep going. I got one more piece of this.
I mean, this seems like a warning sign. You know,
it seems like a warning sign.
Registration doesn't equal votes, but it's something of an indicator.
It's an indicator.
Speaking of indicators, what is the Swift effect?
Yeah, what is the Swift effect? So
the Swift effect.
Here's the vote.gov due to Taylor Swift, who clicked on that link on her Instagram post. As of 2 p.m. yesterday, look how many folks clicked on that link. It was 338,000 folks. Now, not all those folks, obviously, are going to register to vote. But the bottom line is this is a ton of folks who could be entering the electorate. Look, it's not necessarily something that's going to change the election if Donald Trump ends up winning by 2 or 3 points. But of course, the votes in these key battleground states are so tight that any help that you could get at all, this is a clear effect of folks going and getting interested to register to vote. You saw last night Taylor Swift again urging folks to go register to vote.
All right, enough of that. I don't want to talk about Taylor Swift anymore. All right, so you see that number? And this is really key. 337,000 people clicked on the link that Taylor Swift went with the magical endorsement, okay? If you look at the numbers that we just saw in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, from CNN's own numbers, that number does not break what their disadvantage is in that state or in those 2 states. It also doesn't bring up Harris from 15% support to 30% support in the 18 to 29 demographic, which is a main consumption consumer group. There we go. Consumer group of Taylor Swift. Now, also, Taylor Swift has 258 million followers across all of her social media platforms, 338,000. You want to know what that is in a percentage? I just thought about it. I might as well do it. So 337,826. Let's just do this together. It'll be fun. It'll be so much fun. And then we're going to divide this. I'm feeling punchy, by the way. I don't know why. I'm just kind of feeling it right now. So 258. Oh, that's 250. Yeah, we got 2 more of those. That is 0.001% conversion rate. Again, 337,000 people out of 258 million followers is 0.001%. Put that in perspective, and it changes quite a few things. I'm going to get out of that, and I'm going to go over here to bring this in intimate, like I said in last night's video. You guys have to understand how close this is. You have to understand the advantages that are built in that they're not telling you about. You need to vote. You need to get all your family members to vote. You need to get your friends to vote. You have an opportunity to take Trump and have him defeat yet another first woman president from the Democrats in Kamala Harris, which would just be probably one of the greatest things ever, because that would make their just. And on top of that, you get the nice little cherry on top of having our gun rights at least in a better or a less precarious position. Man, I'm stumbling. I gotta wrap this up. A less precarious position than they would be under Kamala Harris. We're in a position where we are not dead in the water. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think if I landed the plane, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.